Namaste. Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all the participants in today's webinar. This is our 51st webinar in our talk series. A special welcome to Speaker Shri Ishwaranji for making the time to be with us here today. Namaste, Ishwaranji. Before we introduce our speaker today, and for those who were not there earlier and have joined us today, Rtambhara Wellness is a collective of like-minded individuals that look at wellness in a holistic way, not just the body, but the mind as well, and all through the practice of knowledge and wisdom that comes from our ancient Indian scriptures and heritage. We conduct corporate programs and retreats for wellness that look at personal transformation and tapping into oneself to unlock our infinite potential. Presently, we're conducting these programs virtually, and our corporate programs are uploaded on our website, rtambharawellness.com. Do visit our website and go through the details of these programs. We also conduct webinars regularly on topics that delve into self-discovery, personal transformation, health, harmony, and holistic well-being, as well as the arts, which help us connect with our higher selves. All our earlier talks are uploaded on YouTube under Rtambhara Wellness. If you'd like to be part of our community, the details of where you can connect with us are posted on the chat. Alternately, please post your contact details, cell number, email ID, so we can add you to our groups. Now back to today's program, we have for you a very interesting session on Bhakti Yoga by Shri Ishwaranji. Today's session will be, as usual, talk for 45 minutes and then question and answer for another 15 minutes. So please post your questions by clicking on the chat function at the bottom of your screen. A request to all of you to please stay muted through the talk, but please keep your videos on. A very short introduction of Shri Ishwaranji. Shri Ishwaranji is a senior disciple and protege of the internationally eminent philosopher Swami Parthasarathi. He's been studying, researching, and propagating Vedanta for over 25 years under Swamiji's guidance. Shri Ishwaranji is the founder of Vedanta Institute, Bangalore. Welcome, Ishwaranji, and over to you. Thank you so much. You have to unmute yourself, Ishwaranji. Yeah.
Hari Om.
Hari.
The topic we have for the day is Bhakti Yoga. I need to warn you people, it's not possible to discourse on Bhakti. Bhakti is not something that you can discourse on. But anyway, we have to learn about it. The only way you can learn about Bhakti is only through listening. So we have to do that. So first we need to define what is Bhakti. Bhakti in English is called devotion. In Sanskrit we use the word Bhakti. In English it is called devotion. Now what is devotion? And there are many who had given, a beautiful, extensive definitions for Bhakti. Of that, one of the great devotee of Vishnu, Narada, he defines Bhakti as a moment of maddening love towards God. That's called Bhakti. Maddening love towards God. All these three are important. We can go mad, but without any love, you can go mad also. You can have a maddening love towards your dog. That doesn't become devotion. Okay. There are people who have more emotion towards dogs than human beings. But remember, all three are important here. And when we say in this maddening, we can understand God also, you can more or less understand something. But what is the most difficult part of this is to know what is this love. Again, love is not something we are absolutely stranger for. It's not like, quantum mechanics. An idea from quantum mechanics, if I give a discourse, it's very easy. Because when you come for the lecture, you come blank. Okay. And I say Pythagoras theorem. You have no opinion about Pythagoras theorem. Whereas when I talk about love, every individual has an opinion about love. Right. That's where the problem is. That's what the difficulty is in communicating these ideas. So what is this love, sir? Love is, you can understand experientially, very simple. What is that? When I see my daughter, what I feel towards her is called love. When I see my wife, for some of you may be difficult, but for most of us, we are supposed to feel it. Is a love. When I see my parents, I have that same love, but there is a flavor difference is there. That extra flavor that is added to that is what is making it a devotion. When I have that same love towards something higher than me, that is called devotion. The same love and affection towards the lower object or being is called love. That's why we say, I love my car. I love my furniture. Nothing wrong in that. It is more or less no big difference between me and that object of love is equal or lower. Whereas when I have that same affection and affinity I feel towards something higher than me, that is where it takes the form of devotion, bhakti. When that emotion gets truly intense to a point where it goes beyond all common sense, normal things you don't do, that is called true bhakti, says Narada. A maddening love towards a higher object. In this case, it is God. Or it could be parents, it could be guru, it could be anything. Wherever your identification goes higher, that is called bhakti. Now today, in the name of bhakti, we go through very many things. What is it? That emotionalism is what is treated as bhakti today. That emotional triggering, when you get more emotional about something, which is nothing but mere superstition or fanatic attachment. With reference to this path of action, people get into this mechanical ritual. The mechanical performance of rituals were treated as practicing karma yoga. That's a mistake. If that is a mistake there is a mistake people do when it comes to bhakti. Now this path of devotion is designed for people who are predominantly emotional in nature. In my last lecture, I had explained spiritual discipline has got nothing to do with your body. Remember this. Anything you do to your body has no connection to spiritual effort. Most of you may get angry with me. I can't do anything about it. Right? Because today, doing pranayama is treated as spiritual. Pranayama is not a spiritual exercise, please. That is a exercise to prepare your body. That's all. That is not spiritual. Spiritual effort starts only when you start working on your mind and intellect, subtle body. Now, based on these two equipments, human beings were classified under 4 categories. Mind means emotions, intellect means thinking. The thinking capacity in a human is called buddhi. The emotional aspect of human is called mind. Now, there are people who would be predominantly emotional. There are people who could be predominantly intellectual, rational. And there are people who are balanced. They do have, sometimes they lean towards emotion, sometimes they lean towards rational. They keep balancing between the two. This little, that little, this little, that little, both exist in them. That group is called active. So, based on this mind and intellect, you have 3 categories. Then there is a 4th category also being created, where mind and intellect both are not developed. First one, mind more developed than intellect. Second category, intellect more developed than mind. Third category, mind and intellect both equally developed, more or less. Then there is a 4th category where both are underdeveloped. To the underdeveloped category is what we have this Hatha Yoga practices. Hatha Yoga practices will whip up your personality, wake up your personality. It is dormant. The dormant one needs to be triggered from external agency. It needs to be enforced. It needs to be forced to wake up. There are people who will not wake up on their own. Even if you keep alarm, they will not wake up. You call their name, they will not wake up. Then what do? Take a bucket of cold water and pour on them. Some of them even then don't wake up. Nothing can be done. You see, they're fully drenched in sweat. Still they sleep. That sort of a sleeping person needs to be forced to wake up. That forcing is what is Hatha Yoga all about. After you wake up, we ask the question, is it balanced? Is it more dominant of mind, more dominant of intellect? Based on that, course would be recommended to you. This is the spiritual path. And then I also mentioned, I'm only recapping what I said in the last class as an introduction for the benefit of those who have missed it. Then comes the second one. It is not that you are all the time emotional, all the time intellectual, all the time active, all the time indolent. Your personality is a composite. Not only every human personality is a composite. Composite of what? Emotional, intellectual, active, indolent. Sometimes you are indolent, sometimes you are active, sometimes you are intellectual, sometimes you are emotional. Then we ask the question, what are you predominantly? But whatever is the case, you need to practice all these 4 things depending upon your constitution. This is where spiritual path cannot be given to the masses. It needs to be given as an individual prescription. After scrutinizing, after ascertaining your individual nature, say how much of emotional, how much of intellectual, how much of active, how much of indolent. However, To the extent you are emotional, you need to practice bhakti. To the extent you are intellectual, you need to practice jnanam. To the extent you are active, you need to practice karma. Add all the yoga word together, okay? To the extent you are indolent, you need to practice hatha yoga. Now today the whole world is dominated by people who are indolent in nature. That's why hatha yoga is very popular. You see, bhakti is not popular today. Why? Hardly we have people who have purer, genuine emotions. If at all any emotions exist, those emotions were all what? Gross and base emotions. You feel more intense your anger, jealousy, fear, frustration, depression, insecurity. All these things are more dominant than love, kindness, compassion, etc. These emotions are not experienced by us as a day-to-day one. In the name of love, what are we transacting is only attachment. We just get attached to people and say that is love. You are not capable of it. Simple things we can't follow. Like a very simple instruction was given to all you people to switch on your videos. How many of you are on? Don't get annoyed with me. I am a teacher. I am not a speaker. Remember that. You made a mistake of calling a teacher. Don't think that, I'll speak. It's a simple instruction given to you people. What is it? Keep your videos on. Keep your audios muted. Such a simple instructions we are not able to follow. Why? At least few people are switching it on now. What is that? You see, it's so interesting to see people, how we are able to, you see, why, sir? We have no logical answer for it. You see, there is no logical answer. Now, I keep telling people, see, I can also switch off my video and I can keep walking around and play my old recordings are there. I can play my old recordings and go for a walk. Why should I come and sit and talk to you people? I can keep doing whatever I'm doing. No. What is this? This is called indolence. When we say indolence, don't take it as laziness. That indolence is resisting to action. That's called indolence. Remember that. Resistance to do something. Why should I do? You see, there is a discipline being given. If that's a discipline, we are supposed to follow the discipline. But then what happens to us mentally? The mind will resist it. Like, classic example is, after you wake up in the morning, your body resists to get out of bed. Have you seen that? A lot of people who they just continue to, it's not that he's sleeping, he's woken up, but still he continues to be on the bed only. What is it, sir? That is called indolence. Of this 25 people, 20 people are not. That means what? World is made up of, imagine this is our whole world. If we were to take a random samples, like these people do know the TRP rating. How they take the TRP rating? Sampling is what? 40,000 connections. All over India, they take 40,000 connections as a reference point. I said, hey, in one state we have about 1.5 crores. You take all over India, 40,000 and divide. But then there is no other option. You can't say 40 lakhs you have to take. Now 40 lakhs to do the calculation, not possible, you see. So they do. Now remember, every moment of your life, every simple actions to the most profound action of yours, your personality is expressed. Don't go for big things. See what you are doing to a smaller, innocuous things. Will tell about your personality better. Emotional means right now, as I'm speaking, look here, I'm only teaching. Okay, I'm only explaining what is the meaning of emotional, rational, active, indolent. I'm still in the context only. Okay. Emotional means as I started raising my voice, right, just about 2 minutes before, I consciously raised my voice. If you are an emotional person, you would have started reacting to that. Not the words, the tone. You see, the tone in which the person says something, the facial expressions, those things were registered far more. That is called emotional personality. If you're a rational person, you will hold on to what? Hey, correct. This man, this guy is different from this. Is there any logic in what he's saying? You go through that. If you are a physical person, you will, first question you will be asking is, how old is this fellow? A lot of them ask me this. How old are you? Doesn't matter whether I am 20 or whether I am 70. But the point is what? The focus is on the body. This will expose what is your nature. If you are an emotional personality, predominated by emotion, then you are recommended to follow the path of bhakti, devotion. And what is devotion, sir? Devotion means intense love that you experience for God. Now we ask this question, sir, what do you mean God? What is God? Where is God? So what they say is, for example, I show this to you all. All of you see this, no? I say this is black. You don't have any problem. This is a black color mouse, which I use. There's no problem for you. Suppose if I say, this is white color mouse, what happens? When I say this is black, you don't even react. When I say this is white, you start resisting. Correct? No, Ishwaran. This is not white. This is called black color. This is not white. Now what they say is, visualize this red mouse to be red in color. That is called God. That idols, that the temples and this one, all those, forms of all these things, all these masters know that is not God. That's a stone. That's a wood. That's a marble or granite or this other stone. They know all that. These are made up of a metal. They know that. But then the temples, these idols were recommended for you to see as God, not that is God. You're supposed to go there and see that deity in the temple as though that is God. Exactly like visualize the mouse as though it is read. There is a participation, right? That is what bhakti is all about, towards God. Then they give very many methods. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Padasevanam, this one, that one. All that 9 different disciplines were given to people. Then they say, this is what you are supposed to do, that is what you are supposed to do. This. Essentially, what we need to understand is why they have to bring in this God idea itself. Before that, what you need to recognize is, from your birth, we all have been enjoying very many benefits. There is so much of benefaction being bestowed upon us. Much before the child could take birth, the food for the child is ready. The mother's milk is ready. Imagine, they say, after you take birth, we will buy. Like in our traditions, they say, you're not supposed to buy the soap, you're not supposed to buy things and all, before in hand. After the childbirth only, you're supposed to go and buy, the clothes and this and that and all those things. Then you have to rush, you got to run. Like after my daughter's birth, my uncle forced me. Now we will go and buy. I said, previous day itself we can go and buy. No. Aram said we can go and buy things and bring. No. You should not do that. Imagine God were to say, you take birth and then we will start, keeping, milk, water for boiling and all that. No. Even before your birth, the milk is ready. Imagine that supply, oxygen. He says, first time when I heard that, I was really shocked. Have you paid your oxygen bill? He said. I said, what oxygen bill? Because from birth, free supply of oxygen I'm enjoying. Even when I am fast asleep, the forces come and mend the wound. Isn't it fascinating to see the pressure outside, the pressure inside, maintained? How this excretion happens to that baby inside the womb, and how fantastically that excretion gets comfortably mixed in the blood of the mother. Nothing happens to mother. Imagine that were to get infected. What will happen? No one would be able to, our species will die. But what a benefaction. I can go on adding how many things we have been provided with. To be conscious of all the provisions that we are enjoying will naturally trigger gratitude. The problem is we are not aware of all those things. We are enjoying the benefits. It's like every month you are getting a money order or an automatic transfer to your bank account is coming. Every month 10 lakhs is being credited to your account. You are withdrawing that money, spending that money, withdrawing the money, spending that money, enjoying your life. After 20 years, I tell you, did you ever check 10 lakhs is coming from which account? From where it is coming? Who is sending? You say what? Why should I worry about all those things? I'm getting 10 lakhs every month. No, enjoy. That's exactly what we all do. We are enjoying the benefits. We don't know from where it is coming. Who is giving? I'm not positing there is a person who is supplying and all that, please. The point is very clear that I am getting the benefits. Without those benefits, I can't survive. I can't live my life. Now, the question the fellow asks is, who is sending it, from where it is coming, and from wherever it is coming to that source who is providing all these benefits, provisions that I'm enjoying, to that source, be thankful. That gratitude, that thankfulness towards the source is called bhakti. So bhakti is not a licensed beggary. You go to God and keep asking Him, give me that, give me this. Take care of this, take care of that. I give you this, you give me that. Not that you should not do all those things. That is also accepted as bhakti. Who am I to say it is not? When the Lord Himself has accepted that as form of bhakti, where He classifies, in the Gita, 4 categories of devotees. Artharthi, Artha, Jignasu, Jnani. So the 4 words he uses. Artharthi means who goes to God for wealth, for acquiring something, for want of power, name, fame, money, etc. Like people go to Tirupati and say, what? I put this 100 rupees in your undi and I have submitted for the tender. Let me get the tender. If I get the tender, I will come and break 108 coconuts. Do this. I will do this to you. I'll do that to you. He says that is also bhakti. It is not that is not bhakti, but that's a lower form of bhakti. That's all. Then there is another group of people who come to God for what, sir? Artha. Artha, he says. Artha means the one who is distressed, disturbed. So he goes to God for peace. He doesn't go to God for more money. He goes to God for mental solace. Give me solace. Give me peace. For that, he goes to God. Then there is a third category, Jignasu category. He goes to God who is slightly better. In this, each one is better than the other. The first one is the lowest. Artha is slightly better. Artha Bhakti is what we see in Draupadi. Classic example of Artha Bhakti is Draupadi. In the middle of the assembly, where in Hastinapur, she is being attempted to be derobed by Dushasana. Standing there, she calls for help from a person who doesn't exist in that assembly. Because Krishna, she calls for help. Now, Krishna has to come when? Not after 45 minutes. Not like our movie, police comes, no, always. After the hero has finished everybody, police will come, to collect the bodies. Like that, if Krishna comes, what is the use? There's no use actually. Krishna has to come when? At that point of time. And the interesting part is Krishna is not there in the scene at all. At least if Krishna is hiding in the crowd and she has recognized Krishna, we can say, now Krishna is happily sitting in Dwaraka, absolutely unaware of the instant happening in Hastinapur. And she calls for his help and the help comes. That's a different one. But she calls when distressed. That is called Artha Bhakti. Asking for peace. Yeah. Disturbed, as a result of which The Jignasu is a person who comes to God for knowledge. Like we say, he doesn't want all these things. He says, I want a proper knowledge. Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham Bhikshandehi cha Parvati says. Now give me Bhiksha. What? Give that as a, I'm pleading you. Give that as a Bhiksha to me. What does it say? Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. Give me this Jnanam and Vairagyam as I beg you for that. So he doesn't go to God for these things. He goes to God for this. Then there is a fourth category who is the topmost. What is that fellow? He goes to God for what? For no reason. Not to ask anything. He goes there with that acute awareness of the truth. And his prayer is just thanksgiving. This is Bhakti. Then, when I stop here, most of you will qualify for that one. I'll say, yes, yes. I also go to temple and stand there and come back. Because you don't even know what to ask him. Because you are stupid. Okay. It's like, we don't even know what to ask him. Exactly like, if Prime Minister were to call you and say, hey, what do you want, man? Can I do something for you? What will you do? What will you ask? Imagine Trump were to call you, right? I don't know what I will ask him, first of all. Forget about you people. I will not know what to ask him. He'll say, nothing, sir. Thank you. I'm so happy to have, I'm there. After keeping the phone down, 101 thoughts will come. My God, I could have asked this, I could have asked this. We don't even know this. You see, now we are standing in front of God means you are standing in front of the Lord of the universe. Imagine, you go numb. Because of that, most of us don't know what to ask him. It is not that we have nothing to ask. No, it's not that. You are stunned. Because of that stunning, nothing happens. Because if you say, I don't want anything from the Prime Minister, when you say, I don't want anything from the President, you can't be knocking the door of the local municipal corporator for help. When you say, I don't want anything from Prime Minister, you should say no to this. But all of us do what? We beg at the doors of the senses, the world, to give me this, give me that. Here we don't have any problem. Shamelessly we ask. But in front of God we feel what? Shame. Where you need not be ashamed to ask. We think that is jnanam. No, that is not jnanam, please. That is tamas. That is ignorance. That is not knowledge, please. Because the highest and the lowest will always appear same. When the fan is moving at a high speed, the wings will appear stationary. Same way, when the fan is not moving also, the wings stationary. That doesn't mean both are same. Today, we fall down to this state and assume we are also like jnanis. Now, with God, if you are not asking, you should not be asking your business partner also. But with business partner, we ask for favors. We ask for favors here. If you are asking here, that means you are not. Then we ask the question, okay, Ishwaran, how do I know whether I am a bhakta or not? How to know? And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives 35 qualities. 35 tests he gives. 35 qualities means 35 tests. If you can pass any one of that, you can congratulate yourself to be a bhakta. I'll give you only the first one. First test. he gives is this. 99.9% will fail in this itself. Only then you can attempt other things. The first test he gives for a devotee is a dveshta sarva bhutanam. This is the first quality of a bhakta. In chapter 12 of Bhakti Yoga, he gives this 35 qualities. First quality says adveshta sarva bhutana. Bhutana means beings. Sarva bhutana means all beings. Dvesha, hatred. Dvesha. In Sanskrit, if you prefix it becomes non. Okay. Shoka, shoka. Shoka means sorrow. Shoka means non-sorrow. You see, that is the state. Same way, dvesha means hatred. Dvesha means no hatred. So what's the quality of a bhakta? He says, no hatred to any being. All of us will say, I qualify for that, except my mother-in-law, except my neighbor, except my boss. All of us have an exception. You say what? I don't hate anyone. I don't hate anyone. And it's very interesting. As you age, it will appear to you that you are not hating anyone. You ask your grandchild, ask him, do you hate anyone? They'll give a list actually. They give a list. I hate this person. I hate that fellow. I hate her. I hate this. Mostly there will be a lot of teachers in that list. You'll find, I hate that teacher. I hate this teacher. I hate that fellow. I hate this girl. I hate her. Hate him. They will say that. But you ask yourself, do you hate anyone? You will genuinely feel there is no one in the list. Very interesting. Do this, self, assessment. You ask yourself, do you hate anyone? You will say, no, I don't hate. Then are you a bhakta? You are not a bhakta. Why then, sir? You are not aware of your hatred. It is being camouflaged. Your intelligence cunningly camouflages the whole thing to show as though you are there. It's not that way, please. The strength of a chain. Remember, there's a saying in English. It says, the strength of a chain is its weakest link. You can say all the links in the chain is made up of solid steel. In between, there is one link made of cardboard. Can I pull the ship? You can't argue with me saying, Ishwaran, be positive thinking. Don't have a negative thinking. Why are you looking at only that one link which is made up of cardboard? Look at all the other links which are all made up of solid steel. Why you are looking at this? I can't help, my dear friends. That link's strength is not defined based on all the solid links. It's defined based on that one cardboard link. That's what Krishna says. No point in telling you people, love everybody. Because if I say love everyone, all of you will say what? I am qualified for that. Every one of us will raise our hand. But Krishna says, no. If you hate one being, that means you are not a bhakta. Adveshta sarva bhutana says that prayer is not a license for begging. Remember, prayer is thanksgiving. And how this devotion will express? Devotion will express automatically in spontaneous service. There would be that spontaneity of service. That's the test. devotion will not express in any other form. Devotion's manifestation is the spontaneity, looking forward to serve, and you derive joy and pleasure, satisfaction from sheer service. That's called devotion. That's called bhakti. And then whatever happens in your life is offered unto the Lord and taken as prasad. So this awareness of the benefits that we are enjoying will not force you to ask for anything more. You will feel grateful for whatever you have already received. To express that gratitude, they created one idol and said, take that as a representative of that. So pour in all that gratitude that you have towards that. Taking as though it is, like I told you, assume that to be red in color. Then what's that? That is what idols are. Now people have started taking that as though it is. No, it is not red. It is to be taken as red. Why? Because we are enjoying the provisions, we don't know the provider. So I need to visualize the provider. If I can visualize a provider with form, visualize. If you can visualize the provider without a form, just the name is sufficient, just the sound is sufficient, keep it. Doesn't make any difference. Then I pour my gratitude there. When I'm pouring my gratitude there, two things will happen. Number one, with reference to any being that I'm transacting with, I will not have any hatred. One. Two, manifestation, expression of devotion is service. And in this, we say, it is better to take a person than to take an idol. You see, a living being. It is better to take a living being because as a training, it will not be easier for you. That's why if you see carefully, a dead master is far more popular than a live master. After a master is dead, they become very popular. Ramana Maharishi became more popular after him. When he was alive, nobody went to him. Hardly people will go. That's all. 30, 40 people will go. That's about it. Now, thousands of people go there. Why? He's not there. So, a dead master becomes a puppet in our hand. I can do anything with him. I can say anything. I can do anything. So, I have absolute freedom. If the master were to be alive, he will test you. He will put you to a lot of pain, which we can't take. Therefore, we prefer a person who is not there. Is it? That's why in the tradition, they keep always devotion to a guru is far superior to devotion to God. That's what Kabir says. If my guru and Govinda were to come together, my first prostration will be to Guru, not to Govinda. In this Vaishnava tradition, they take Guru far more important than God himself. For them, Guru is Tayar, Sri. So when you go to the Vaishnava temple, first they will go to Tayar Sanidhi and then only they will go and meet him. Not the other way around. Shiva fellows are opposite. Shiva temple, first they'll go to Shiva. Straight they go there. Incidentally, they will see Parvati also there. That's all. Devotion, if you want to learn, it's that Vaishnava Sampradaya. They teach the devotion in this way. So Bhakti is intense love towards God. Your ability to identify with God is called bhakti. How do you practice it? You cannot practice it. It is not easy to practice. Practicing bhakti will always appear like practicing love. You cannot practice love. Practicing will love will appear faking it. But there is no option. We have to fake initially. Therefore, what Vedanta recommends is before you go through all these things, first register the provisions that you are enjoying. Bhakti will develop automatic. And then expression of that will happen. As what? Towards all beings, you will be affectionate, loving, you won't hate anyone. Two, it will express as service. This is bhakti in a nutshell. Of course, there are so many aspects we have, but we don't have time for all those things. So we can't afford to go through all the aspects. But this is a basic concept that you need to remember. To whom it is given, what is it, what is the test, and where we falter. This is all we have seen today in the idea of bhakti. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ishwaranji.